community drop down. And there's lots of things on here that I'll talk about security in a minute. We have our calendar. We have a directory of community organizations, which is what I'm going to start with. We have our JCRC, which is a community program. We have Life and Legacy, which also appears in other places, but Life and Legacy, again, is a community program we talked about last time. Applying for a grant, like our community engagement grants, and all the information about the community study. So that's the community tab. And so I believe, hold on, let me move this up here. This is going to be a challenge for us. That's the calendar. I was not going for the calendar first. I was going for the directory. Because a lot of people know about the calendar, but a lot of people do not know about the directory. We've also been having some issues with our website. Oh, it's okay, it's being slow. So it's being slow, so every organization is listed in this directory if you have given us your information. It is also updated if you have given us your information. So here it is completely alphabetical, so that's why at one point we were using a different platform, and a TBE board member who's a longtime member was very upset that TBE wasn't there. It was just a few pages down because it's alphabetical and TBE usually comes in toward the end. But so everybody's here. We have a little description of each organization. We have the rabbi, in some cases the executive director. We have Pardes Chana, don't worry, we haven't forgotten them. And other community resources like our ARUV, Hebrew Free Loan, which is a really great resource. The JCC, because we started with congregations and all these, everybody's here, okay? So, and then we have it separated also by youth and families, so the various camps. We do have Habonim here, and etc. The PJ Library is on here. I haven't scrolled down this for quite a while, actually. But anyway, it's all here. Now, like I said, we can update this, so feel free to go on and look what we have written about you. I mean, whatever we've written, it came from your website. We didn't make anything up, but maybe you've changed something. We've changed our mission, so you might have changed yours. Whoever is, like right here, I'm looking right at Ann Arbor Orthodox Minyan, we have not updated the president to Michael Weiss yet. So once a year, we will be reaching out, usually in the summer, to say, hey, we're updating all our, directories and everything. Can, you please give us your updated information? But you can also just send your updated information to us. An easy way to do that would just be info@jewishannarbor.org. I could give you an exact person, but that could change, in a couple months. So just right now, info@jewishannarbor.org. Hey, we have a new president or we have a new XYZ, please update your directory. Now there's another directory that I'm not showing you here, and that is our internal directory. That's a directory where we know who your key administrator people are, who your marketing person are, if you don't have a professional marketing person, who's the person who's doing your newsletter, things like that, so that when we want to send you information, we can get it to the right people. We also, that big internal directory includes who's key on your team around security and other things like that. So, and as we work at trying to do more together, let's say admins meet together or program people meet together, that's another thing that can be helpful. So our staff will be reaching out to your teams to get this information, but again, every year it is very helpful to you to update, your board leadership, for example. Any questions about the directory?
No, about the calendar.
I'm going to that next.
Oh, good.
Okay, so we have a community calendar, which is supposed to help us not conflict with each other. There's a few key, it's opening, so it's just taking it. We know that we're having some trouble. Rachel called Jason today, so I'm just letting you know that. I don't know why it's so slow. Anywho, the little circle's moving. We have a community calendar. We also have JLive. I'll talk about JLive in a minute, but the JLive is supposed to populate the calendar directly. We know that it's not always happening, so it's always really, really good to make sure that your items are on the community calendar. We can also see that for some reason it's probably due to JLive, so we're still working this out. There's a bit of duplication there. Better to have duplication than not have the event up. So I want to say a few key principles for you around community calendar. Number one, before you plan an event that is important to you, please check the community calendar. Check to see if somebody else has planned an event. Now you may decide, you're having a book club and it's only for people in your organization, and someone else is having a book club for people in their organization. So maybe you don't care if there's a conflict. That's great, no problem. But if you are planning your book club on the night of the main event, I'll just use that as an example, that's kind of a shame, because then the people in your book club have to choose between like two things that might be important to them. So number one, always check first. Number two, the minute you have your date, make sure it's on the community calendar. Because while you're getting your room and getting your person, and then all of a sudden 2 months later you've decided, I'm going to start advertising for this event, so I better get it on the community calendar. Guess what? Somebody else was doing all their planning and they already had their event on the calendar. And I cannot tell you, I know I sound a little hot and bothered, but I cannot tell you how many times we've had to deal with situations like this simply because somebody didn't put their event on the calendar the minute they knew. You can even put tentative events. So for example, you have a big fundraising gala. You want a lot of people to come. It's very important. So you're picking between 2 or 3 dates. Put tentative and the event, and then once you decide that date, you can remove the ones that are not tentative any longer. And all that does is allow somebody else to call you up and say, hey, I see you have these 3 dates. We were considering a date for something. How can we work something out? It's all about communication, because the minute people start communicating, and that does happen a lot also, then all these issues can be resolved. Yes, Deborah?
So you will probably recall the year that JCORS had a special once-a-year critically important event planned, and another organization, we were on the calendar, everything was set, and another organization came in and bigfooted it. So what I'm asking, of course, is if we do this, what assurance do we have this we'll at least get a heads up?
Look, what we don't have control over is that kind of situation. We can talk until we're blue in the face about the importance of the community calendar, but unless the staff for organizations that have staff and the volunteers are reminding the staff, right? If you're a volunteer and you're working with an organization and you say to them, hey, did you check the community calendar about that date? Or if you're a volunteer and you're doing these events, everybody just has to try their best, because we as Federation, as powerful as we may seem, really have no power in this, in what people's, events are and how they schedule them. So it's just really important that people do this work, and then if there is a conflict, then to have open conversations with the organization that's having the conflict.
So Federation staff would be the first to see the conflict. Can they?
The Federation staff is not necessarily always looking at the community calendar.
I was just wondering if there was a way to get a heads up.
It would be great, but unfortunately, not always. Sometimes I will tell you that the heads up usually comes from me or someone on my team, because I'm looking to see, is there something I can do or what? And then I'll say, oh no, I see this conflict. Please call these people. So when we see it, we do reach out. But if we don't see it, we don't. Somebody else have their hand up? I see Lavana and then Steve.
Who has access to the calendar?
So for most organizations, 1 or 2 people on your team have access. for smaller organizations that don't have that kind of staff, sometimes we will handle like their calendar, like especially for like the small volunteer organization that's not as yet established and wants to put something on there. We'll do that stuff for them. And Steve.
You answered my question.
Oh, good. I love it when I do that. So that's the community calendar. And look, I know and we try also to put on the community calendar, my team tries to put things like U of M graduation or, some breaks. We're not as consistent as we could be, but it's as we're shifting some things around, I'm hoping we'll get better at doing that. We do have a lot of those things on our Federation calendar, so you can always, well, first of all, you can always just look things up yourself, but, you can ask us, and we're happy to help, identify if a date's gonna work. Some of these, what they should do, see this one, here we go. This one, all right, we'll use the blood drive, even though it's a sort of a sore spot for me right now. Had an unfortunate situation, but I'm doing great now. So yeah, you can see they put their flyer up here, so it looks like a real event. That's what we want to see. Sometimes the event looks just like you have I'm having trouble like coordinating my mouse. Sorry, here we go. Sometimes it comes up looking a little bare, and part of that, we're still trying to figure this out, but like this Matza factory, this one is just not showing up the way I want, but this other one had the flyers, so you can see as this one shows up like this, so you might want to check, once you have your PR, you might want to double check your calendar entry to make sure it has all that it needs to have. Yes?
The remedy for that is to actually put a description
Yes,
on
exactly.
what your event is about.
That's right, or put your flyer up. But again, it's supposed to seamlessly go with JLive, and we are still working on this. It will put in the calendar entry, but it won't necessarily make it all look pretty. So if you want to make the extra step of making it look pretty, that's great. But that does bring me to JLive, which I need to get my, I know what I'll do. Hold on. Okay. So is there anybody here who does not know what JLive is? Anybody? Yes? Oh, okay. All right. So JLive started in Detroit and Montreal. It's an app. You can put it on your phone, and it is supposed to be the repository of all our local events. What makes JLive way better than the community calendar is, number one, the people who are using the community calendar are like us and your staff. It's not, regular Joe Schmo is not going on our community calendar to find out what's going on in the community. This is an app where they could search for family programs or social events or other things. There's lots of little tags and little ways in which they can search. And as we have more and more on JLive, it can become more and more robust. Here you have, some of the upcoming events that are happening. This is by the organizations who's putting stuff up on their event. Here's what's popular near you. So people can, some organizations are using the JLive registration app. That's part of the app, but you don't have to do that. So the synagogues have an internal, like a database system that doesn't speak to JLive because ShowCloud is closed. It's not because of JLive, although we have our own problems with our own database with JLive. But some organizations, so JCC, if you click on JCC, for example, and we click on this event, here you go, and you can register right here. Okay, and that's going to bring you, I believe, to a JCC registration. Yes, a JLive registration. And if you're logged on to JLive, so you can set up your own account on JLive, and if you're logged in, it makes the whole thing very easy. Okay. Now, another alternative is, I'll go to a different event. So, yeah,
I have a question just in terms of the images.
yes.
Are you using fair use images?
I cannot answer what every organization is doing. Most organizations are making up their own image. That thing with Russ Collins, he is the executive, or he's
The immediate,
the immediate past executive director of the Michigan Theater, so I assume that they have an arrangement together with the Michigan Theater. But it's really up to each organization about how they're going to.
What is there a policy on that? Like, are you expecting fair use images or?
We don't currently have we don't currently have a policy. Our federation is doing that, but we do not.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
You should use royalty-free images though in everything you do.
Right.
So so here for the Israeli Bloc Party, if I am correct, and I hope I am. Yes. So that register button brought us to a federation registration page. Doesn't matter the person who's doing this, right? Who's signing up. They just are clicking register and they're registering however they register. Until we can make the JLive registration do what we want it to do, unless the synagogues are able to do what they want it to do, then they still put their own registration link. They go ahead and they allow people to sign up for these events. So this is a really great platform that the JCC and the Federation have brought to our community. We're in a pilot phase. The Jewish Community Foundation has paid for this pilot phase. And we are really working to try to, number one, the more people who use it, more organizations who use it, and more events that get up there, the stronger it'll be. And the more people who use it, the stronger it'll be. Obviously, we still have a few little kinks that we're working out, but by and large, as a tool to get the word out about your events, this is a great tool. But you need to let your folks know about it. So when you're speaking from the BEMA about some events that are coming up, instead of saying, oh, check the website, say, check our events on JLive. And then people will know, oh, what's JLive? Oh, okay, let's find out. So that's one trick to getting more information. Yes?
I was just wondering, are the data compiled, the data that are collected on JLive compiled anywhere on anyone?
So that is a question we're still trying. Yes, the answer is yes. JLive has that data, and as the owners of Ann Arbor's JLive, JCC and Federation have access to that data. We have not started even talking about how to use that data, how to share that data with our partners, or any of that. But all of that is important,
Thank you.
Okay. Hold on. Yes. Go ahead and ask while I'm trying to see what's next.
Remind me if our people put something on the JCC community calendar versus putting it on JLive, does one populate the other? Or do they
If it goes on JLive, it is supposed to populate on the community calendar. Your team should double check. Katie on my team is working on this. She is finding that sometimes there's a lag, which is then why we're getting all these duplicate things on the community calendar, because people are trying to make sure it's on there, which is fine, but there's a lag. So we're trying to get that right. It should be that you only have to go onto JLive and then it hooks through, because we're not trying to make extra work for any of your teams. And yeah.
And if the person registers for an event on JLive, sometimes it's sending them back to like the Federation or our temple website. But when they would do it on our temple website, they would be logged into Shul Cloud.
They'll still be logged into Shul Cloud. They'll still be. What you're going to do is you're going to put the link to Shul Cloud to do your registration, and then it's going to bring them right to Shul Cloud.
Well, I know they'll go to Shul Cloud, but they have to log in again to Shul Cloud.
I don't know. I wouldn't think so. I mean, if they're already automatically logged on to Shul Cloud, I find that I have to log on almost every time I go on
But
to
every
Shul
5
Cloud.
minutes or so, I feel like
Yeah.
You don't have to have an account or register on JLive to sign up for something through JLive.
Correct. Correct, you don't have to have an account on that. So another resource I just want to share, I think it's important for people to know, obviously a big area of collaboration for all of us, again, we're at this slow, is, hello, they're defining security for us, is community security. Now there's a lot of ways that we collaborate on community security, so I can entertain questions. I'll say just a couple of things about community security. Shane Dennis is our community security director. He works or is employed officially by Jewish Community Security Inc. in Detroit, and we pay for his services to work here. He's a former Ann Arbor Police Department employee who was he commanded a SWAT team, which means he worked with all of the different law enforcement agencies around the area. He knows what he's doing and he's really great. He's been consulting with every organization, and if you personally are not aware of his work, certainly your staff teams do. There are two things that I want to bring to your attention on the website. One is the report incident, which is actually at the top of the page, whatever page you go to, and that is to report incidents of anti-Semitism or safety and security, which, I mean, obviously if you're reporting about safety and security, it's probably anti-Semitic, but also if there's something that happens in a school or in your work or whatever, it doesn't have to be an attack on you, like a physical attack. We want to know about it. We pass that information on to ADL, so if you want to make sure the ADL has that information, we are passing it on, but either Shane or Asher from our JCRC or I will call and find out from you more about the incident, and we'll determine whether or not does it need to be reported to the police, and then we'll encourage you to do that, or are there some people that we can talk to? We've had a lot of good experiences in schools where we can talk to a teacher or principal. Most of the time, these incidents are out of ignorance and misunderstanding. Sometimes they're not, and so we have the resources. We often will work with the ADL or the AJC, you can look those up in your glossary, to help resolve any issues. So please feel free to use that. The other very important thing, and this is for your roles as board members, is this whole event security needs. I'm gonna call out TBE for being the #1 user of the event security need form. Shannon uses this form for everything, and Shane really appreciates it. So to all the rest of you, if you have an event or any sort of security need, even if it's a question, hey, I have this event coming up, like I'm gonna forget it again, the one that's for the immigrant. I always get the acronym wrong.
Yeah, Merck.
Merck, thank you. Like the Merck event, because this came up today. Should there be security? Fill it out and ask, say, Shane, do we need security for this? And he will contact you and he will let you know if he thinks you need security or not. Yes.
What if we already have it covered?
If you already have it covered, you don't have to do that, yeah.
Well, but if you inform Shane through this of the event, then he also reaches out to law enforcement so that
Yeah.
they know the event's happening, so it's on the circuit that they're policing.
That is true, Steve. So you've got, Ed covering your events in his company, but sometimes maybe you have a bigger event. Ed will probably do the same thing, but it's good for Shane to know. Like if you have a big Hanukkah event, for example. Yes.
So, we already, report needs and incidents to Shane. Is this?
That's as an organization. I was talking about an individual. Yeah. You are reporting to Shane. That's
So we're-
different. Like if you have that guy outside who ripped down your banner, that's different. He's reporting that stuff out.
Good.
I'm talking about more like on an individual level. I wanted y'all to know about that.
Like if you're walking down the street.
Okay, thanks.
And like that jerk in front of Beth Israel starts yelling at you, that one you can report to both Ed and to through the incident reporting.
So,
Sorry, Naomi, you had a question and then.
Yeah, two quick questions. One, does Federation have a best practices as far as having an annual review of security policies or something for the synagogue, or is there anything like that that is
Yeah,
available?
you should talk to Shane.
Okay.
Right now, he is helping every organization fill out a policies and procedures. and he's working with everybody to review their policies and procedures. We will be having a tabletop exercise, I believe, in May, I want to say 16th, where we'll be, and it will include law enforcement and like the security manager, emergency manager from Ann Arbor and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, absolutely, we're working on all of that, and you guys should definitely talk with him.
And then the other question is just, as far as reporting an incident there, if it's already been reported to the police, is it still helpful so that
It
you can
is.
yell? Okay, fine.
It is helpful, absolutely. Yes, Bonnie, sorry.
No, it's good. I have a question about, like, if you hear about an incident like those postcards a couple of years ago,
Yes,
like, I called the rabbi right away, right?
That was
Something
great.
that's time sensitive or.
that was great. You call the rabbi, you can also, like, reporting it on the incident, if it's like emergency like that, I would say the rabbi and or Shane, and the rabbi is gonna reach out to Shane and me probably, well, he did reach out to me, so yes, that when it's something like really like right, that timely, but Shane got right on it, like as soon as he knew about it, so yeah. Yeah.
And then I have another security
Yeah.
question.
Mhm.
I actually like with JLive it to go instead of to our separate website, because if JLive gets hacked or something, then there's at least a barrier to our data.
That's
right?
great.
Yeah,
I know.
absolutely. I mean, look, it's happening anyway for you. Right now, I think just the JCC is using the registration because it's way better than their other registration platform. Yeah.
And then if we just, I mean, we're putting all this time and effort into JLive.
Mhm.
Do you have an idea of how much it's gonna cost once we're no longer part of the study?
Well, we're not part of a study. We're in a pilot, which they gave us a discount. I do know, but I don't, and then the jury's out whether or not it's worth it. We're really only in the first, 6 months. So we have another year and a half, and things will have to be, look, I think in some ways it's really amazing and it's working really well, and in other ways it's not. So it's gonna have to be a lot better, and we're gonna negotiate.
Okay, one final security
Yeah.
question, which was Ronnie's. Did you want
Mhm.
to ask about it? Or?
Well, I was wondering, you have all these things in the community calendar, and anyone can have access to it, and what about security associated? with that?
Everybody can't have access to the calendar, I'm
Well, then
sorry.
If you go to the
J-Live.
Police Federation,
Well, Jay, if you go to
No,
JLive-
you also, not anybody can have access to JLive. I mean, anybody can go on JLive and see our events, is that what you're asking? Yes, so we have a general practice.
No, I'm saying, they see the event, they may have a date, they may have a location, and hopefully you have security attached to it. I mean, I'm
Yes.
sure you're thinking about that.
Yes, everybody's thinking about security. A good practice is, if you have a big event, is we typically don't say where the event is until people have registered, and then people who have registered are able to get that. So that's a good best practice. Yes, Taryn?
The security roundtable, is that?
You mean the tabletop exercise?
Yeah, is that, can anyone come, is that public, like?
It is intended for the key security people at each organization, and as a security, aren't you the chair of the security committee?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you should be at that, so
Who else is included in it? Is it like other, like?
it'll be the
leadership?
executive directors and the rabbis, but, yeah, anybody from the organization who is in the position
Is there
that
a
they
date
should.
yet?
Like I said, I believe it's May 16th, and I believe he's communicated it to leadership, so, I can double check.
That's fine, I can follow up with you about it.
Yeah, yeah.
16th is Saturday.
Then I'm wrong. It's May and some date with a 6 in it. I don't know the date. I can look on maybe it's on the community calendar. All right. I want to, yes, Alex, one last, and then I'll just, yeah.
Is Shane ever invited to talk to boards of directors?
Absolutely.
Is he willing to do that?
He is more than willing to do that. Absolutely. I mean, you guys meet on Sunday morning. That's a little hard. But yeah, he would absolutely, by the way, he would definitely join by Zoom. He's very happy to do that. If it's a little harder for him, to come in evenings and stuff, but he would.
The current date Shane has for the tabletop exercise is May 14th.
14th. It's so close.
It's so close.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. All right. So let's see, I talked about security already. I do want to mention, 2 other collaborative efforts that we're really engaged in. And one is community engagement grants. Raise your hand if you don't know what a community engagement grant is. Oh, great. Okay. we're gonna keep going then. There's a link on our website for community engagement grants, but it's a great opportunity and we're fostering, folks to work together. Just for those who don't know, every quarter we have a community leadership council meeting. That is for rabbis if they want to come, executive directors, presidents, and other folks who, sometimes like JFS, Sarah Hahn, because she's their community services manager. I don't remember the exact title. But so different people from different leadership teams, both professional and volunteer, do come to this community leadership council. We often will have a guest speaker from outside the Jewish community, sometimes from inside the community, but it's a really great opportunity for everybody to update each other, what events are coming up, what issues we're working on. So it's a great opportunity. And again, if we know who those lead people are, then we can make sure they're on the invite. And every month, the rabbis and execs get together. So we are meeting together to explore and discuss and debrief and really be a collegial leadership team. Yes.
I was going to ask about debriefing. Do you review the community events and what went right and what went wrong?
Not individual community. Well, it's not true. Sometimes, if we'll do a big rally or something like that, we will. Or but for Yom Ha'atzmaut, even though that's a community event, we don't.
The Israel trip last December.
Yeah, we talked about that. But more to the point. Let's say Temple Israel a couple weeks ago, we talked about a number of things. We found out that somebody wasn't on a security list, and we found out, so we debriefed about that kind of thing as well. Now that. Uh-oh. Stopped working. I won't know what I'm talking about if I don't. Okay, so this is the last thing, is just what are some things that we do together as events? And that's to help us also think about what we may do together. So first of all, every early September, late August, we have been holding a community leadership welcome, to kick off the year. We used to hold it at parks around town, but it got really buggy and really hard to coordinate. So actually, we hold it at my house, at the homestead, and it's got great indoor, outdoor facilities, and it's for all of the leadership team, the professional leadership team and the boards of every organization in the community. We also try to invite the new Frankel Fellows. So when you get the invitation this year, please join, because it's such a nice opportunity to kick off the year and get to meet the new people in the community. TV's gonna have a new cantor. Everybody will get to meet the cantor, that kind of stuff. So it's a really nice opportunity.
And a good brunch.
And what?
A good brunch.
That's not brunch. That's punch and cookies. That's afternoon.
Oh, okay.
We hold it around 4 to 6 so that volunteers and professionals are not giving up too much of each other's valuable time.
Is there a date?
There is a date. There is a date. I don't know it right
Wrong
now.
question. What is the date?
I don't know the date. I think we did it when we did our calendar, if you could check. Laura's checking, and I can check after too. Community meetup at Top of the Park has been a great tradition. That is, I think, the 26th of June, but somebody can check if that's a Sunday. It is not Father's Day, for those people who are annoyed with us. So what we've been doing is we've been having a community meetup at Top of the Park where we provide one drink, your first drink, and the Jewish community comes together. It's been an amazing activity because a lot of us talked about how we like to meet people from across the community, new people we've never met before, we didn't even know we're Jewish. They show up and they hang out, just like you hang out at Top of the Park, but we hang out together as a Jewish community. And if I'm not mistaken, we reserved a more enclosed place this time, we upscaled it a little bit. So it's gonna be really great.
And on the 28th.
What?
The 28th.
Is August 20,
that's June 28th.
June 28th for Talk of the Park, everybody, not the 26th, June 28th.
We've got the tent.
I think we have the tent. I'm not 100% sure, but I think we have the tent. No, Laura's saying maybe we don't, but we do have space. Tikkun Leil Shavuot has become a really great community event where from around 8 in the evening until the wee hours of the morning, people from all our different congregations and not congregations are coming together to learn together for Shavuot. And it's been rotating, who's hosting, that's still being worked out right now, but it's a really wonderful annual activity that brings the community together. Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut are two events that the Federation coordinates, but they are real community collaborations, yes.
Tikkun Leil Shavuot is going to be at Beth Israel again this year.
So I didn't have confirmation from Jerry yet, so that's why I didn't mention it, but it may be, but that's one of the things we talk about at Rabbis and Execs, is who's gonna host Tikkun Leil Shavuot. So anyway, I think Beth Israel is hosting it again, but we shall see. So these are the kind of programs that we have been doing together as a community. And there's a lot of opportunities to really get everybody together and get that energy. So I am supposed to be having a little bit of time for us to do a collaboration brainstorm, but what I think maybe we can do is, Carrie, can we have you come up, and then as people are leaving, so think about this prompt, maybe take a note about it, because I didn't write it down up here. Could have written it down, but think about what are ways that our boards, our organizations, our professional teams might collaborate. This could be around events. This could be around like getting stuff done, whether that's purchasing, I'm just giving one example, or things like that. Or getting further involved in the community. So, or how can we help one another? How would you, boards who are in here want to collaborate with each other? So after we finish, and hopefully we'll have a little time for that, on your way out we have the other 2 blank pieces of paper, and so if you'll think about ways in which we might be able to collaborate together and work together to make our communities even stronger, then I appreciate that. Yes, Lubana.
Prior to that, Yom HaShoah is individual to synagogues, or what is?
So interestingly, and I believe it's on the community calendar and it's coming out in the communications about it. I just saw this last week. So Second Generations at TBE has been doing a very beautiful Yom HaShoah program, and they have built it this year as the community Yom HaShoah program. So I hope that everybody in the community will join that, because I think, yes, Bonnie, did you want to say something?
Is it generations to generations is the same thing, right?
Generations after.
I think they might have changed the name.
Generations after.
Generations after. Okay, maybe sorry, I got the wrong. Yeah, it is generations after. But so that's how it came out. I don't know if there was conversations with the other congregations. I would love that to be. I would love for there to be one community Yom HaShoah where we all come together. I think it's also helpful if everybody's on the same page about it. That I didn't even talk about MOUs. We'll talk about that. I will send you. I'm going to say one last plug about collaboration. Is when you're doing programs together, it's really great to have really clear roles and expectations of one another. We're all like, especially you guys are volunteers, you're all working together, you're all trying to do really great stuff. And so of course the assumption is that everybody's gonna make whatever this thing is that you're working on together happen. But sometimes if expectations aren't clear and roles aren't clear, we forget that, maybe somebody needed to reserve the room. Who was gonna reserve the room? Or who was gonna put it on the community calendar? Who was gonna staff this event? I mean, just like you do internally in your organizations, it's super helpful to have that clarity across organizations. We have found it really helpful working with the JCC on some of our bigger events. I will be sending you an example, like, of an MOU. You know, it sounds so official, but it's really not that official, but it just really is a way to think through. So like, I would love to see an MOU among the various congregations around Yom HaShoah saying like, yeah, we're all gonna buy into this and this is how we're gonna promote it and whatever. I mean, that's just an example, but I did definitely wanna say that working together is such a great thing, and not being clear and direct with your expectations is not kind. I'm actually really bad at this. You know, I just have this expectation that people are gonna do things, so I'm speaking from like, that it's a challenge for me to do, and I think it's really important to work on that clarity of your expectations with your partners.
Great, thank you, Eileen, thank you for leading us through. This is a great one, and thank you all for being fully engaged. I think this has been the most participatory session that everyone's been able to share. So this is the opportunity to wrap it all up, to like figure out what we all, sure, yeah, what is still sticking with you. And so we could talk about the question that you just raised, which is, what are ideas in your head for opportunities for collaboration? So this is an opportunity to either share back ideas or things that you've come away from sessions, you went back to your board and it led to this great conversation, or questions, things that you're like, we never really did touch on and it's still sticking in your head. So this is really meant to be an opportunity to, like we've done at the end of each of the sessions, for people to talk in small groups, but let's just open it up to this larger group for either share back or questions or anything on your mind related particularly to the content of the session. Yeah.
Why did you want our mission and vision statements and strategic plans?
That's such a great question. Steve, did everybody hear what Steve asked?
So mission, vision,
Yeah.
Why did we need that?
Well, I was thinking that I was gonna try to do more with that and share that out. I didn't have it from everybody, but I'd still love it from everybody, because I think what I'd like to do as a follow-up is make sure that everybody has that. I was thinking, before I got all deep diving into the history, I was thinking more about maybe us understanding each of our organizations more, but then I got into the other work that I was doing. Great question.
Just trying to keep you busy, Steve.
It took so long.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you for developing this training series. I think it's going to help us recruit future board members, that people will feel like they're supported and they have resources and they know what they're getting into. So thank you very much.
I can repeat the questions out loud if it's easier too.
We were talking at the break about how we have all these great organizations and all this stuff going on in a small Midwestern town. And we were talking about how there is a perhaps surprising number of unaffiliated Jewish people living in our small Midwestern town. And so how can we, and maybe this is the Federation thing, how do we draw in the unaffiliated? How do we advertise? The giant billboard, the community calendar isn't enough. Annie's going to put giant billboards on the side of the road, I think I heard her say. But how do we reach the people that, if they only knew, right? Like we always joke about the best kept secret in Ann Arbor or in the Jewish community is Rav Gav's Rosh Hadesh minyan, right? I bet there's a whole lot of other best kept secrets, and just how do we do it? That's the way our boards and organizations and staff should be collaborating, is to reach the unaffiliated and to really get out of our minds that we're trying to we're not trying to reach the unaffiliated to join our congregation. We're trying to engage and create a larger community, and that's what this big group ought to be working on, or Federation ought to be working on.
You have a solution?
Well, no, it seems to me that a majority of the unaffiliated would be younger Jews. And seems to me that, a majority of the unaffiliated would be younger Jews, and of course, the way to connect with younger Jews is, what else, social media. When I think of social media, though, I think of like, the whole world is watching. Do we have, for instance, does JCC or Federation have Instagram accounts or what are there, TikTok, this, that? And then when do you advertise events? Do you worry about security in such a public forum?
Federation has a Facebook page and an Instagram. I know nothing about the Instagram, but we do post on it, and we will post our events, but similar to wherever we post our events, you know, most of them don't have a location until somebody's registered. But we also post other things, you know, things that are going on or of interest. But there is also another Facebook group that we own. It's called Jewish Ann Arbor and in Washtenaw County. Yeah, something like that. But if you just Google Jewish in Ann Arbor and Washtenaw County, you'll find it. It is a moderated group, so you know you can't just you can go on, but then somebody's got to let you in. But it will contain all of your events, so you can post your events on that group. And we do have people, like every so often I'll look on it and I'll see that, oh, I didn't know that. And they're not always Jewish events that are on there. Somebody's trying to reach the Jewish community. But because it's moderated, there's never anything like super inappropriate. There aren't even that many conversations. It's really just more people plugging their events. So that's another way for us to get out. We don't have a Twitter or whatever it is now. But we don't have any of those kinds of things because that requires a lot of resources. You have to be posting on that a lot to be meaningful at all.
So, how many of your organizations like notify your own members about JLive or the community calendar or this Jewish Ann Arbor group? Like, by raise of hands, how many of you have republicized it so other folks know about things outside of your own temple? Yeah? Some, not all. Yeah, okay. Just an idea, like, as part of this, an opportunity could be to think about getting the word out about those things too.
When I talked about the directory, I did forget to mention that you can all have a link to that directory on your websites, so that people who are new to the community or not new to the community want to know more are aware of what's going on in the Jewish community. That's why we do What's Happening, so that people know not just what Federation is doing, but what you all are doing. So I just think it's really important, and actually, and I will also say that you all, you know, the other organizations, especially the two larger synagogues and even some of the smaller, are publicizing other community events and much more than we used to do, and I just think that that's really great that we're all doing that.
Look at her right.
Started a pattern.
Thank you. You're talking more about this idea of how to get people interested, get to see what's going on. There is something besides publicizing events. I have long been an advocate of in our congregation in Lansing, I could never get the rabbi to do it because it was too much work. But for a group, a large assemblage of organizations, if there was something like, Twitter as it used to be or Blue Sky as it is now, it wouldn't be about posting events. It would be a piece of Jewish wisdom, a story that you read that had meaning. It could be brief. It could be a little post. And if enough leaders were doing that, people could start to see that there's a lively Jewish community. If they happen to like the one from Rabbi so-and-so from this organization, maybe they'll go there for services or whatever. But it's different from publicizing events.
All right, we have good ideas and thoughts on on today's topic, are there still things on your mind from what we've discussed in the last two sessions that you're sitting with? Questions, topics you hoped we might have addressed that we never did?
Is it possible to develop rather
You go.
than, is it possible to develop rather than each organization separately? A quick orientation for new board members?
An orientation, so an orientation,
Like to help them learn what it means to be on the board, or because often orientation also has this part of like, let us teach you about our own mission.
No,
let us-
right,
So
so we
that-
have that.
Yes.
But in terms of what are expectations of board member, you know, I've been on board.
Yeah.
I've never.
They said the first
been in
session that Janet
exercise-
led.
Right.
Yeah.
So if there is any way to do it in a more condensed way, so it's not 3 hours.
I was thinking with it too, is it, what about like a supplement or something, plunk into a board member handbook or something that could be something that is coming from.
I don't think it's as, sorry,
You don't
I
think so?
don't think it's as effective. I mean, you know, we give a binder and, you know, how many people do
I see.
really sit and read from A to Z?
Does
I don't know.
everybody get board members around the same time, and also would bring in community?
Right.
So if we do something for an hour, hour and a
Right.
half, with everybody coming together.
We talked about that when these sessions were designed, and I don't know if
Still can do.
in the works or not.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is I think it's a great point. It's an evolution, you know, even what we're doing here. I do think a very important practice for each of our boards is to look at our own expectations and develop a way of communicating those to new board members. That's something we at Federation are actually working on for ourselves. And so, I think we just need, is there a way that we can take the sessions, these 3 sessions, and condense them? Maybe, but we learned a lot of really important information here. So maybe we would, I mean, the plan would be to, you know, continue to do this, so newer people coming in would have the opportunity. It is a commitment of time, but maybe people who are able to come are then able to sort of pass on things. But some things are gonna be organization specific. So we'll sit down, we'll think about that.
Just to follow up on that suggestion, there could be a version of this like we had, which was fantastic. I was out of town for the second, but I heard it was great. But there could be a version that's a shorter piece of basic board responsibilities like Janet did, a basically piece of finance and a basic piece of community that's trans-organizational. And then that, so I think there would be a value to that, because it's, I mean, each organization could do it, but I think we could do it once well. Thanks.
All right, I'm hearing some interest on it from multiple organizations, so perhaps there's something there. That's both collaboration and building effect.
So I was going to put this on the board, but I'll mention it here. Maybe others agree that I think the conversations around what each of our organizations is doing with security is a really important conversation. I know I've had conversations with other presidents around the country to hear what's happening there. Of course, we've had our recent event in Temple Israel, but that's an area where getting together, oh, you're having folks doing that, when you have this people come, you do that. You know, it's just helpful for us each to know. For example, we were talking about, well, wouldn't it make sense for us to have, in addition to our regularly scheduled security, there are other times when we might want to have security in, and you know, those are ideas that I'd like to hear what other people are thinking about that.
Great. Love that.
I know that the community professionals meet occasionally. Would it be useful for the organizational presidents to meet occasionally?
Yes, I will just say that previous board chairs of Federation have convened presidents of the other organizations, and I think that's missing right now, and our incoming board chair is Joan Lowenstein, and I will mention that to her. I'd love to see that resume. I think it's really helpful. I love it. Thanks for saying
I know I've met with Jack in the past, and despite that, I think it might be good to meet with presidents.
I do just want to add that I have a date for our community welcome. It's September 3rd.
September 3rd, y'all hear that?
September 3rd
That's the
from
community
4 to
welcome.
6.
What time, 4 to 6?
What is the community welcome again?
It's that one with the boards and the
at your house.
professional, yes, with cookie and.
Should we all put that on our calendar?
Are you all planning to still be on the board on the September 3rd? Then yes. You'll get an invite.
Is there a way, so maybe there's an idea for programming. I mean, Dan mentioned Haver Kadesha. I was thinking about like community Ulpan classes, Hebrew classes, like, is there a clearinghouse or a place where somebody can present, say, hey, here's an idea, not necessarily the community grant, like it's not there yet, but like just, is anybody interested in this? Or my place is not the place that really should be running this, but is anybody interested in running this? I would happily help. You know, that kind of is there anything available like that?
Usually people just bring those ideas up to me.
Just send it to you. I wondered.
But
I kind of figured.
do, but like I love that idea of thinking about, like there's the Tikkun Leil Shavuot came out in part from a conversation of somebody bringing that to us, but we didn't initiate it. I think it's great. I love the idea of those, bringing up those ideas, and then often because I know, the landscape, I can say, oh, this person might be interested in doing something like that, or Beth Israel has really great Hebrew classes, and anybody's welcome to come to them, for example.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Bonnie, that's you.
Of course, my question is finance related. So the Jewish Community Foundation, it'd be nice if they had a session for like the people in charge of finance at the different organizations. Like, what do they do? If you have somebody that comes to you and wants to set up an endowment, who do you call? Do I call Eileen? Do I call Osner? Like, where do we go? I think that would be.
For the Community Foundation?
Yeah, I think the Jewish.
Now, I am the director of the Jewish Community Foundation.
Okay, so maybe meeting with the VPs of finance, how does it work? I mean, I know you guys have a new CFO, are they in charge? I think it would be, instead of us trying to find you, maybe you find out who we are and come to us.
That is a really good idea. I will say that every organization, except momentarily TBE right now, sorry, also JCS, but has a representative on the foundation board. And so I think and they are supposed to liaise. So that's a conversation, but yes, I think it's a really great idea, but I'm just letting you know that everybody is supposed to have a representative.
When I used to work at NEW, the Ann Arbor PTO used to hire us every year for a little while, and there would always be, for all the new board presidents, we would do a training, and for all the new finance folks, we would do a training. So it's maybe a similar idea.
That's nice.
Like those are two key areas,
Yeah.
especially folks who are new, we get that kind of thing every year.
Wait, I have one more, also like the VPs, of like admin, right? They have a lot of the same issues. They've got contracts with employees, they have employee handbooks, they have maybe new AI policies. They have all these things that are coming up. It'd be nice for them to meet as well,
Yes.
because those are really.
That is actually something we're working on. It's been slow to happen, but yes, I agree.
So it's sort of like communities of practice is what I'm
Yes.
hearing, opportunities for that.
Okay, so I was sitting here thinking that the best collaboration in terms of all the events are these yoms, when there's no specific halakha. Yom HaZikaron, Yom HaTzmaut, even Yom HaShoah, and actually Beth Israel is doing the Yom HaShoah event this year, so maybe we didn't collaborate as we should have. I'm also thinking that there may be collaboration in terms of tefillot and minyanim, and with the sensitive idea, of course, there are different versions of halakha and how we do that. But perhaps everybody doesn't know that Beth Israel has a weekly Sunday in-person minyan there's no mechitza, we count women, but there are different contingents of the community that would be welcome at the minyan and absolutely needed to make a minyan. So maybe somebody in Recon or Beth Emmet is saying, Kaddish, and they want a minyan, and maybe a once a week in person minyan, or of course there's a daily minyan, and of course the Orthodox minyan and Chabad has a daily minyan, and of course, there's different sensitivities, and of course the gender issue is a sensitive issue, but there may be some better communication so that we're not all struggling for the minyan. I think actually when we did Purim separately, or maybe Shavuot separately, there's not many people that go to Shavuot because it's not, quote, one of the big high holidays. But when we do it together, there's a lot of people, and perhaps we can help fortify our minyanim.
I wonder if there's a way on our community link where we can just have everybody's, for the minyan times, that we can do something
Right,
like that.
and yeah, it's okay. So you don't have as much Hebrew in your service, but you'll be counted as a woman, or you want to go to an Orthodox minyan.
No,
and
you
just say
can't.
Kaddish.
A woman cannot.
What?
No, a woman cannot, but a woman could go and not be counted.
It won't be counted.
No, it won't be counted. I understand. I'm not trying to get into these sensitive issues, and I know there's different halakha interpretation, but certainly a woman can be counted Beth Israel and Beth Emmet for a minyan, and then just to know what's available and what the maybe not say limitations, but what the strengths are. What does our community offer? Because I know Sunday morning minyan is in person, and I'm dedicated to it, and sometimes I'm number 9, and we're looking for number 10. And maybe number 10 could be my friend in Recon once a month or once every 6 months. Okay, that's my spiel.
That's good.
Maybe this is happening and I just no longer see it, but I feel like we used to have stronger or at least occasional connections with Hillel at U of M. I know that the times that I've been involved, we've really struggled to be with EMU, but I just, especially acknowledging that we are a college town and that's a big part of our transients. One time I remember having, it was like an all community Shabbat at Hillel. That was awesome. Can we do one at EMU? There is an Ipsy Minyan that also didn't make the list.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So yeah, to just try to have what's called a stable adult, non-student members of the Jewish community try to do more outreach and more integration with the Hillels.
A lot of people stay here after college. Yeah. All right, let's go for a couple here, and then I might, here and then.
I just wanted to tag on to Rena's comment that she mentioned very briefly, in that there's actually quite a sizable Jewish community in Ypsilanti that we need to learn to be better at embracing. A friend of mine who lives in Ypsilanti mentioned very clearly that they get forgotten. They are forgotten.
Oh, just say it. They think we're snobbish, and perhaps we are, which we shouldn't be. One of the things that I learned in the history of Hillel that popped up in my inbox was an article about the history of U of M Hillel, is that they have a very special relationship with JCC of Detroit. They did not say anything about JCC of Ann Arbor or Greater Ann Arbor.
Because they get money from that.
I'm rather thinking.
Federation,
I'm
the
rather.
Federation, not the JCC. You're saying at the Hillel thing? Or, I'm sorry, could you repeat? Yeah.
Hillel.
Yeah.
Because of their 100th anniversary,
Yeah.
there was a lot of literature out about them.
Yeah.
I may have kept it actually because I wanted to share it with someone, and then if I can find it, I'll forward it to you.
Yeah.
But what it said in the first or second paragraph, it remarked at the very special relationship that U of M Hillel has with the Detroit JCC, which they have.
Federation.
Well, oh, Federation. Okay.
That's what I was trying to.
Are you sure?
Yes.
almost.
Did you see the
100%
same piece,
positive.
Steve?
It's a federation.
Okay, all right, good, but, I was really struck with, we were talking at one time at another meeting about why aren't we more connected with you, Michelle? And I think it's because they're really Detroit looking rather than Ann Arbor looking.
I mean, sometimes it really depends on who's leading the Hillel at any given time. Detroit definitely gives them a lot more money, but we have at various stages. Sorry.
We have at various stages in time had much closer working relationship with U of M Hillel, and it's something we're working to address. I wish it were different.
The current student president of the student governing board is a Jewish student of color, so we are directly connected to her and her programming. But other than that very special and unique relationship, I'm understanding it's not happening.
Yeah, I usually have a relation. I mean, I actually know Talia, I think it is, but I tend to somehow get introduced and get very closely connected with a lot of the governing board chairs, and that's really great. But that's going to be at a different level than the leadership. So what we really need to do is develop that relationship and
With the professional leadership.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is, thank you for all being here, for being present, for being engaged, for your great ideas. I think you had a suggestion. If you had something on your mind, an opportunity for collaboration or just a spark of an idea, it doesn't have to be fully formed, go ahead, jot it down, put it on the whiteboard outside, or just, send a note to Eileen.
I'm taking notes also.
Yeah. I don't know the next steps after this. I don't know that it's all been decided. But this was like an opportunity to bring folks together. And we do want to know, what did you get out of it? What can we do differently? Because we want to build off of it in some way. So we'll follow up with some sort of a feedback survey and ask for your thoughts. So surveys are annoying, but take the time and just, send something back. Let us know what worked and what didn't work, or what you'd like to see come up going forward. And with that, I hope this is at least an opportunity also to meet folks from across the community.
And I just want to say thank you to all of you. You all deserve applause because you're busy board members. You probably have a million meetings and you're trying to get so much done for your organizations. And for you to take these 3 evenings to spend time with us, we really appreciate it. We're so grateful. And we hope it enriches your board service.
Thanks a lot.